Hi everybody, it's Louisa here, and I want to do a start to finish. I'm going to be altering another large matchbook box. Let's see what this looks like. These I had picked up from my Dollar Tree, and I've been looking for more of them. I only have one more left that I haven't used. It's still packaged, and I've been looking for more at my Dollar Trees, but they don't have it. So I'm gonna have to check out Walmart and stuff like that just so I can have some. I just like keeping things on hand so I don't have to go run to the store if I ever do need one. But I wanted to work with my Digital Kid Heartbreak, and this is all in red and black and white. You can see I've already started cutting out a lot of the stuff. I took out some lace too. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I just wanted to keep it in here because I knew I wanted to use it with this kit. And I have my papers and everything. So I wanted to do another one because I really fell in love with the one that I did for myself here, and it has a frame on top. I don't think I'm going to stick a frame on the new one, but I really loved how this came out. It has little feet, the little box inside is like a drawer, and it pulls in and out, and I wrapped it with paper and everything. So this one is mine because I have my photo in there, and I was just going to make another one. Probably gonna put it in my Zip-it shop, but I really wanted to use this kit. So I just have a few things out. I don't know. I never know how something's gonna completely get finished, or what exactly is gonna be on the projects that I work on. I usually know like the basics, what paper I'm gonna use, what item I want to alter, and then maybe just a few things that I'm thinking of using, but it doesn't always get used, or I always have to go and grab more things to add to it as I go, because once I start putting on my items onto my pieces that I want to alter, I start visualizing a little bit more ahead and ahead and ahead instead of visualizing the entire thing. All I know is I wanted another altered matchbox. So what I did pull out is a few items here. I had gotten this spool of chain in black. I got it online from Hobby Lobby. And then I took out this chipboard pack from Melody Ross, and these are just hearts. So I might use a few of these. They're chipboards, so they're nice and thick. I do have a heart-shaped punch, but you can only punch through paper, and if I'm going to use it, I want something nice and thick. I also pulled out these hearts here, and these are actually cake decorations that you can find online. So you have to look for cake decorations, and they're actually hard. They're made with something like gum paste, I believe, but it's hard and dry, and you can actually paint on them, and they're not going to get sugary or anything. They're not going to get wet. They're already like a piece of ceramic. So I might use maybe the little one or the big one, I don't know, but it's got some really pretty design on it, and it's raised, all the little swirls, like embossed, and you can rub on there something. And I took out these wooden pieces. I took two different types. This one, which is the one that I used on the last Matchbox, looks like that, and then these bigger ones, and I think they came in the same pack. I'm not sure. So these are, one of these sets is going to be for the feet, and I don't know if I want the fat ones, which looks cute, or the skinnier ones. And I picked those up at AC Moore. So that's all I have for now. I know that I'm going to be breaking out my flowers, my paper flowers, red and black and white probably. So, but I just leave that for later when I get to that point, because my flowers is always closer to the end of my projects. Now, I've already unwrapped the plastic off of this and removed all the matchsticks and put them in a Ziploc bag that I have in my kitchen for emergencies. So, and then I did decide on using this image here. Now, I had printed everything out already, and the background sheets that come in my kit, the average size is an 8x8, but I zoomed into it and made a full 8.5 by 11 so that I could wrap it around this box and I would have enough. And this is the one that I chose. It's like a red design with a gray and some white spots on here. It's really pretty. So that's the one I'm going to wrap around the outside. I haven't decided what I'm going to cover the inside with yet. So we're going to start with that, and let me put these aside for now. I'll just put it back in my Ziploc. I'll just use those large Ziploc bags to store these now. Just a quick show of how I've been cutting these things. Like the flowers, I usually leave an edge because there's so much small detail that I can't cut around with, but if you can, that's great. So I've been just cutting out like the Polaroid and all that. I don't know what I'm going to use in here yet. Okay. So, how I cover my matchboxes. I do not measure. I hate measuring. I just grab a pencil and I have my cutter ready. This one here. And now these things are not always perfect squares. They never come out exact. Like they might glue it a little off. Like you can kind of tell right here. It's not straight, but I really don't care. Actually, it's better leaving this inside because it keeps this from getting wonky. So, being that this image is one all over image, it doesn't matter where or what direction I'm doing this, but if you had something like my previous one had this text on there and I wanted it to be in the direction that it is, so you had to, you know, watch which direction your print is when you turn it over and glue it down. So all I'm going to do is zoom in first a little bit. I'm just going to line up the edge of my matchbox here and mark the other side, and I'm going to cut one long strip. And I'm thinking, if I have the guts to do it, because I don't make many minis, I'm thinking of making a teeny tiny mini to go in here. And yes, it's zoomed out, sorry. Come on. Stay focused. There. I guess I gotta leave this here so it's focusing on something. I was thinking of doing a little mini, you know, with some lovey-dovey stuff. Using the postcards that are in my kit and the images, because I think they fit in here. I'm not going to write it in or anything. I want to leave them so that whoever does buy it can put whatever they want on it. But nice little Valentine's gift. So I'm trying to line it up as perfect as possible. Cut it, and I can still save this piece maybe for the mini. And so it should be, yep, it's just the right size. And I would like to keep, because this right here has a seam, I want to make my other seam on this side instead, so there's not much bulk on this side when I glue everything down. But what I'm going to do now is mark where I need to fold, and then I'm just going to take my bone folder just to help the fold along, and I can get some crisp edges. Let's see, I did here, here, and back here. Alright, so that should be it there. I should be able to cut it right there. but I'm going to cut it slightly bigger than that last mark, just in case I was off. At least I'll have extra to go around and it won't be a big gap. So that's my last line, and I'm just going to give it a little more, and I'll just trim the excess later. I'd rather be over than under. So you see, I just left that much. Hopefully that's good. Save that little scrap. And now, where's my bone folder? I'm just going to grab a ruler instead of the scoring board, because all I want to do is make a quick line. See, it creased it just enough. And then I'll just keep checking as I go, make sure my marks are okay. It feels so good to not be sick anymore. I just have like every now and then my throat will tickle and I'll have a cough, but otherwise I'm feeling great. A lot of people have been getting this sickness, this cold. I don't even know what it is, but it's been running around, and at work even half the supermarket was sick. So there's my paper, and you can see it's slightly overhang over here, but that's going to get trimmed once I glue everything down. And I'm going to use the wet one, the Scotch Quick Dry. You can use Mod Podge if you like, but this for me, it seems a little faster in the drying time. And like I've said before, I'm impatient. I don't like waiting for anything. I don't like watching paint dry either. Now again, this is where, no, this is not the seam. The other seam is here, and I want it to be on the side where there's not going to be a seam, which is, where is it? Here. So let me start here. I don't want to put too much where it wets the paper too much. You don't want the paper to get too wet because it is something that's printed with a regular home printer, and it makes it run if you're not using a really good specialty paper, which the one that I got is from Walmart. It's not the best. I was hoping it was, but it's not. So I'm going to keep this napkin close by just in case I get seepage. And again, leave that one inside because it keeps your box nice and square and firm so you can work with it. And now I have to undo this and put it down. I'm trying to do it so that you see everything. So if it seems like I'm in an awkward position or something, I'm sorry. But I just want to make sure you see what I'm doing. I don't know if you're seeing or not. Let's see. Maybe this way. That's better. Make sure I get the edges. Now I'm an over embellisher. I think I've mentioned that before. With this little project here, you can cut back a lot of what I'm doing and just make this cute little decorative box, you know, for like a gift or something. You could just cover it like I'm doing now and just add a few items, ink the edges maybe, and then you're done. Just use it for a gift box. You don't have to do everything that I'm gonna do. But me, I just overdo things all the time and make it more than just that. I just turn it into a little piece of art that you can still use to put a gift in, or a mini, or a chunky charm. That'd be another good idea to put in here, is a little chunky charm. Hopefully that's not too much. Now here I notice there's a little gap, and that's because of the imperfect box. It is not the perfect box. So I'm just kind of pushing down on it. Well, see, now that I'm putting everything down, I realize the mark I made is not exact with the box because the box is not a perfect square. So I want to fix that because I don't want to get too much of a gap in there, and just sort of remark that so that it folds in the right spot, and just give it a new seam. There, now it's more, because that stuff would bother me. And that's why you just keep checking as you go. Okay, that's better. And I think I need to trim this end before I glue it down. So once you get close to the end, the last flap, check if there's any excess on this piece of paper, which there is. This side is perfect, and like I said, this box is not square. So there's a little bit of overhang, so I'm just going to trim that off before I put this down because it'll get in the way. And then I can put it down. That's not easy to do. Turn it this way. You could just lay it down on something, on a board or a cutting mat, and cut it with a blade. Let's see if I can do it without having to get my blade out. Okay, that's better. So now it's more flush, and then I can bring this down. How did that piece of paper get way over there? There's a scrap of paper like way on the other side of the room. I don't even know how I got there. Okay, the last side. And here I want to really get my edges so it grabs well. Okay, so now I'm going to cut that extra that I had left on purpose. You see, even after that, it still even came out more than I had because the box is just not a perfect square, not a perfect straight lines or anything. So I even have to trim some on the side here because it's not perfect. You would think, being that these things are probably machine made, they would be perfect, but not. Sorry if I'm not on camera. I'm just cutting around anything that's overhanging. I think I have some over here overhanging. Okay, I almost cut my finger off. Alright, so there's my outside of the box already covered. And like I said, you don't have to go that much further. You could just maybe add lace around it, some trims, you know, put a heart on top and a bow or something. Just make believe that's a bow. And make it a little package and call it a day. You can use some inks. I have some inks, which I have to take out too. And just use it for like a little gift box. I'm going to cover this one. And I didn't print out another sheet because I think I should be able to use one that was just an 8x8. So hopefully, I haven't even picked out which one yet. And I also want to do the inside because I did do the inside on the other one. This I am going to actually take apart. I'm going to undo it and glue down my papers and then put it back together. So that's how I did the last time. This would be kind of interesting on the inside, I think. The stripes. So what I do sometimes in my kits is, or most of the time, when I do the papers, I usually do like one solid print like this, and then a second one using that background and then add to it so that they coordinate. That's one of the reasons why I do that. Like here's one, and here's the coordinating sheet, but it has stuff on there. Maybe this one on the inside. Also have that. I kind of like this one. For the inside, for the outside. Okay. We are going to use this for the outside, and oh, I like this one too. That for the inside. Okay, that's it. No more deciding. Again, I'm going to use the same glue because for me that holds the best. But this time, I'm not going to use my cutter. Oops, oops. Get over there. I am going to be gluing this straight down to my papers. And this will be the inside. I'm going to start with that first. So these things come apart. I think they come apart pretty easy. I don't remember. It's been a little while. It just has one flap this way and two flaps on the inside, so that's on both sides. So it should, okay, and if it doesn't, just, you know, help it along with a blade because you don't want to destroy the actual chipboard that this is made out of. You still want to keep the shape that it has and everything. I mean, you're going to reinforce it once you add the paper. So you're just going to take that apart. But last one I did came out a lot easier than that. Let's see, help it along here. I really glued this one down. Yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, you mainly want to keep, you know, the shape of this. You don't want to destroy that too much. So let me finish doing that. This is going to be a long video, so I'm going to do it in several parts. I don't want to keep stopping those. That's where I always mess up. Every time I stop and start over again, I end up sometimes forgetting to hit record. Okay. Remove some of the extra that got stuck on there. So as you can see, the size of my paper is just right. If this fits in here very well, I am going to, this was, I said the inside, so this is my inside. I'm going to glue that part, and what I'm going to do is glue it down straight to here and then just cut it by hand. There's not going to be any measuring, no cutting with my cutter, just a quick, you want to use a good glue that holds well with the paper, and I find this does, and that it stays wet just long enough for you to put this on your paper. Okay, and I'm going to have to center it as well as much as I can. And I know it just zoomed out. I'll put something there in a second while I'm trying to. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm just trying to press down, keep this here. And get my napkin ready. Okay. So now I have that down. That's my inside. I'm going to cut. And I'm just going to cut a little bit. I'm going to turn it off. I know. Just cut it right up against that chipboard. All the way around. You're just going to go all the way around, and if you have big enough scraps, like this is big enough for something, save them just in case. And I'll be right back, and then I'll do the other side. Okay, so I'm back again. As you can see, there is my inside. So you're going to see that inside my drawer. And I forgot a little spot here. Let's see if I can get that. So now I'm going to do the outside part. But before I do, I need to be sure that I mark my folds here. Because once you put the other paper, you're not going to know exactly where to fold, even though you can see the edges here. It's better off marking them now, and you'll see through the reverse side of the paper. You could use a ruler too if you want. So what I'm going to do, because it's the inside, I'm going to hold my folder so that this folds up and crease it. And now the glue is still a little wet, so the paper might get a little wrinkly. It doesn't matter because this paper here looks like it's wrinkled anyway. And I'm just going to do that to all my flaps so they're already like pre-scored, and you'll see that through the other side. This side here. It's a little hard. these little flaps. Okay, I think I got them all, so you kind of get the idea so far how it looks. On the inside, it's nice and covered now, and it's got a nice like crease looking thing. So now that my marks are there, I can open it up again and do the other side. Now this image here has a little like frame thing with the 14. I don't want that in there really. I wouldn't be able to get it perfect anyway. So I want to try to just get this side, and there's some really nice images in here other than just a clock. There's some chicken wire. So I'm going to go in this direction so I get maybe up here. So this is the front flap. You won't see these parts. And I can probably get some of that chicken wire to show through. So in order for me to make sure it's okay, I'm going to cut off the white part so that I don't get that in my box. You could just use your cutter. I already put mine away, so I'm just doing this by hand. And I'm only going to cut one side. I'm not going to do the whole thing. There's no need. Not my best scissors right now. These used to be my good ones, but I got all messed up. So this is my top. And it doesn't matter which direction this goes, but I just want to ensure that this top goes on one of these flaps. So it's going to go there. So we're going to glue again, and let me put this here so the camera has some focus. And glue. I use this same technique on the other box. I don't think I did this to my Halloween one though. I think I left that cardboard the inside. I think, I can't remember now, but the other one that I showed you, I did do this. Now I want to make sure this part, since it is the outside, that there's enough glue on all the edges. I can always wipe off any excess. Okay. That's right. So you just have like a split second to maneuver this with that glue. Just enough time. And there. Turn it over and do it. Okay, I'm missing a little bit of glue over here. Okay, here it comes. So again, you're going to cut off your paper, and I do the notches last. I just cut on the outside first, and then I'll get into the little notches that are here later. So I'll quickly show you. And again, keep your extra. I can probably use that 14 later. And you'll cut your notches. And if you need to add any glue in any corners, you do that before you fold this. So I'll be right back.